But yeah, for average person, I would still heartily recommend the Rift S at this point. Incredibly simple to set up, works amazingly well. But yeah, I mean, as impressed as I am with the Oculus Rift S, there's probably a pretty safe chance that by the end of the year, I'm going to treat myself to a Christmas present of the Valve Index. Because there's some cool stuff you can do with that you just can't do with... I mean, I would still recommend for most people, the Rift S is pretty much the solution. Or the Rift Quest if you don't care about missing out on some sort of higher end PC-based experiences. Because they're so simple and so elegant and they work so well. But as a content creator, and as a geek in general, I definitely want to get a hold of the Index with their advanced, 2.0 tracking and the Knuckles controllers, or whatever they call them now that they're out of code names. I really like the individual finger tracking grip strength. Yeah, the grip strength thing is interesting. Not sure how many games will be able to use it because, well, I don't know how many people are actually going to get the Index versus the Rift, for example. But it's a cool idea that it'll eventually become a thing. I'm still getting used to the the Quest controllers as well. No, wait, Rift. Keep getting them mixed up. Actually, the same controller, so it doesn't matter. But moving from Windows Mixed Reality controllers across to the Oculus Touch controllers, I've got to retrain all my muscle memory, especially in VR chat, which links certain finger gestures and grip positions with in-game grip positions, which a lot of people custom avatars have linked to expressions, so they can be more expressive. So yeah, it's still kind of all kinds of clumsy when it comes to that stuff. But in general, I like the controllers much better. Battery life has been amazing. I haven't replaced the batteries yet. Much better than the Windows Mixed Reality controllers, who basically only lasted about 6 hours per battery set, and it was 2 AA's at a time instead of 1 AA at a time, what the Oculus ones do. So, I'm quite impressed. Which one is better, Oculus Rift or HTC Vive? The Rift S I would buy over the Vive. The original Rift, not so much. Not that you can't even buy that anymore, they've discontinued that, but if you were thinking of getting it second hand or something, if someone was selling them after buying a Rift S, for example, although there's no real reason to upgrade from the Rift S, or from the Rift to Rift S, because they're not that different. Lots of little niceties, but not worth the upgrade, I don't think, if you already own a Rift original. But yeah, if you're choosing between HTC Vive right now, like the standard HTC Vive, not the Pro, and the Rift S, easily. Better controllers, better comfort, better screen, better lenses, easier setup, and better software, actually. Because you can play everything the Vive can do, you can do on the Oculus, because Oculus works perfectly well with Steam VR, which is what HTC Vive uses, so that would be the choice I would make right now. In fact, it is the choice I made, literally, just a few weeks back. I did and ah about getting a HTC Vive, thinking to myself, well, if I get a HTC Vive now, they've come down in price, I know they're good because I've used them before, but then later down the track I can upgrade to the Valve Index by just replacing the headset. And the controllers, maybe, down the track as well. Because they're all interchangeable. Like the sensors, satellites would be the same. So all I'd have to do would be to swap out a couple of components. Maybe do it one at a time over a couple of months as the budget allows. But yeah. I decided to pull the trigger on the Rift S, and very, very glad I did. I'm very impressed with it. Need to find a good review of the Oculus Quest. There's a few out there. I've watched a few. I mean, I'm an hour about getting one myself, but I can't justify the cost right now because I literally just bought the Rift S out of my own pocket, and that was, that was all my fun budget money for a while now. Yeah, I'm hearing good things about the Quest. I would like to own one because I've got the Oculus Go, and I use that at least a few times a week just for looking at passive stuff, videos and photos and environmental kind of stuff. It's really good for that. But the Quest, with its, room scale and proper controller track. Because that's one thing I hate about the Go. The controller is just 3-axis, like an air mouse kind of thing. Very, very limiting. But yeah, having the Quest, just so if I do want to pop into VR real quick without any fuss. I like that idea. Hard to justify that, because I do have the Oculus Go, and I do have the Rift S. Can't wait for another VR craze. We get much more support in games. Well, I do think the Quest is going to help with that. Like, every article you see written about the Quest is like, well, yep, this is the one for normal people. You don't need a fancy PC. And I think that's the holdback for a lot of people. You need quite a powerful PC to do VR properly in the PC version, but even with the limitations of the Quest in its, power and its battery life and things like that, regular people are going to eat it up, because regular people don't spend 4 or 5 hours in VR at once like I can. Regular people are going to drop in for half an hour, maybe an hour, play a simple little game or pop into VR chat for a little bit. And the Quest is just fulfilling that. And with Oculus's, they've committed to keeping Quest and Rift S on par as far as possible when it comes to software experiences. I mean, they're going to look worse and maybe run a little bit worse on the Quest because it just doesn't have the PC power, of course. But the same kind of software and the same software is going to be available on both from the Oculus Store, apparently. So, I mean, you can already use VR chat on the Quest. Some worlds you can't visit because they're too complex. There's too much geometry, and it just can't render them. Same thing with some PC avatars, especially custom ones a lot of people use. There's just too much geometry for it to be rendered. And if you're in a world where someone has a complex PC custom avatar, all Quest users see is kind of a dummy, a blue dummy avatar, but you can still interact with them. You can still see them moving about and stuff, but yeah. A little bit limited in that way sometimes. Like I said before, just give me full VR that can track the whole human body. I'll be happy. Well, you can do that now. I was talking about this with Valor Gaming, who was in yesterday's stream. You can actually use a Xbox Kinect, and there's an official adapter to be able to use those as sort of development device on a Windows PC. So there are people right now, and it's very, very popular in VR chat to do full body tracking by combining regular VR with a Kinect, which will track your body, and then smush those together in the application. You can also do full body VR tracking if you've got the tracking pucks from the HTC Vive. They've got special little tracking pucks you can put on your feet and your hips. And then you can use inverse kinematics to work out body positions from that. And that looks pretty realistic too. There are people in VR chat who kind of specialize in their full body tracking. They like to dance for people and do that kind of stuff. And gotta love I love the way the troll looks. But you can do full body tracking right now with a bit of external assistance. Wireless headsets. We have wireless headsets. Literally, the Oculus Quest we were just talking about is a fully wireless, self-contained VR experience capable of doing room scale. Has 2 6 degrees of freedom controllers with it. That's what you want right there. Fully wireless room scale VR, self-contained, and they're selling incredibly well. Like, they're literally sold out. I did look at the Amazon listing for them, as I was sort of umming and ahhing and second guessing myself about ordering one, even though I can't really afford it right now. If I spent that money, I'd be in trouble. But impulse buys. What did I come back here for? I forgot. Got distracted again. Wi-Fi 6 would be the way to do it. Oh, if you wanted to run VR on the PC and then squirt it across to a headset so you have full power but wireless head. Yeah, I mean, that exists already too. There's an adapter for the HTC Vive that does precisely that. Using I think it's a custom Wi-Fi solution, or a custom wireless solution, not Wi-Fi 6 or anything like that. It has a sender and receiver. But yeah, Wi-Fi 6 should have the bandwidth for it.